I'm going to go over a lot of content today, a lot of science content, but all of it will be available in your course, as well as some PDFs for some of the really important bullet points that people will need. And so definitely have your F3 journal. What I want you to think about are feelings and thoughts, especially super positive ones or super negative ones, self-doubt ones, self-critical ones, because that's the thing we want to see what get triggered, what emotions arise from it, and how we can change it. So that being said, I'll say it again. F3 for your takeaway notes and to track what thoughts come up. And just attention. And at the end, imagine you're going to be called on in front of the class to tell 3 takeaways and who you'll share them with. All right, today's a lot of science, and we are warriors. In fact, I have a new logo for this. It's going to be awesome. Confident, grateful, and authentic. We accept complete responsibility for who we are and where we are in life. We live with intention. Kindness is our currency. We control our thoughts, body, and actions. And we accept the people and things we are powerless to control. We have the grit to never quit. We take action with authentic power, accept what we can't control, and we get away from the unacceptable. We transform our suffering into authentic strength. We strengthen our bodies, calm our minds, and share our authentic life. We're not perfect, but improve daily to help others lighten up too. We are light share warriors, and it's a war, man. Change is always a war. Sleep Sensei was last week's homework. And your job, your task, your mission was to map out a simple bedtime routine and follow up for the next week, making adjustments as you go. You don't have to report whether you did your homework or not. Those of you watching the recording, if you haven't done it yet, there is no better time than right now to start. Mapping it out and then following it is way different than waiting till night and trying to create it. You know, cliches exist for a reason, though I do my best to avoid cliches. Failing to plan is planning to fail. So if you don't have a blueprint of what you're going to do and a cue to start it all off, you're not going to do it. Or you're going to do it really half-heartedly and not get benefits. So make the plan and follow it. And it can be as simple as you want it to be at first. Because we are here with intentions. We're here with goals. Yes, you want to lose weight. Yes, you want to be stronger. Yes, you want to be happier and healthier, for sure. And those are great intentions. And I just said them in words. And there's thoughts that go around them. And there's feelings that go around the idea of accomplishing that. And those are good feelings. So we start taking new actions, start working out. We start following a timed eating protocol. But why do so many people not get their outcome? If it feels like you heard this before, you are right, and you'll hear it again and again. It's because of our unconscious mind, our unconscious programs, our unconscious beliefs about ourselves, and the unconscious, unaware traits. And those are the actions that just sort of happen. And we're wondering, why did I do that again? This is not unique to any of us. This is true to every single human being. The super successful, and by successful, I mean fulfilled, financially, emotionally, physically fulfilled people know about these traits and they know how to handle them, but they don't disappear. They're there. At one point in life, they kept us safe. That's why they're self-protective traits. But we don't like them anymore now. They're messing us up. So later in life, those self-protective traits become SP, shame, pain traits, like painful, and we're ashamed of them, so we just ignore them and hope they don't pop up again. The actions, the traits, are fueled by our beliefs about ourselves and about the world and about how the world interacts with us. And it's all wired into our neurochemistry. I cannot stress this enough. This is not a willpower thing. This is not a what kind of mood am I in thing. This is neurochemistry. So these traits, these programs are hardwired into our unconscious. And they're what get in the way of our outcome. So if you watch the Sleep Sensei and you didn't do the homework, it's not because you don't feel like you need more sleep, it's not because the information I gave you was bad. It's not because you don't have an extra 15 minutes at night. It's because of these traits. And these traits are stopping most people in some area of life from having the success that they deserve and want. We're here to do something about it. Rowena, good morning. All right. We covered a bunch last time, and I will not redundantly bore you. You can go through and see it. But Sleep Sensei is here to share a lot of science. And he wants to let you know how you do one thing is how you do everything. And if you've heard this cliche, it's absolutely true, because just what I was talking about, those traits, those beliefs that stop us from doing the new thing that's kind of challenging or uncomfortable. Same thing with sleep. So if we are not able to schedule out time to at least have the opportunity to sleep for 7 hours, and we're not able to do the things before that to facilitate, we're not able to do our workouts. We're not able to follow our timed eating protocol. We're not able to show up for our kids, our family, our significant other the way in our heads we want to. Our intentions are to be this really good person, but we're not doing the actions to make it happen. This happens with sleep almost more than anything else. And you need more sleep. Everyone says, I need to get more sleep. In fact, 98% of Americans say this at one point in life, especially if they are parents, especially if they have a busy job, especially if they've been working out, especially if they're trying a new lifestyle adjustment. 98% say this. And the steps are there, but we don't do it. So Sensei says, less talk, less whining, and fix your typo, and more action. Like, quit talking about it. Take some actions. So every new action requires new neural pathways, or it's going to be a willpower-driven action. And the old pathways are on autopilot. They're automatic. So when we hardwire the new pathways, that's when great things start happening. So these excuses may pertain to you. People just don't create the space and time for sleep. They just think it's automatically going to happen. They are thinking so much because they feel like they're required to, instead of taking steps to shut down the conscious brain. And people just think, hey, I can live. I'm fine without a lot of sleep. And they will compensate with caffeine, other stimulants, or just dozing off during the day. It's hard to give up the nighttime relaxation, dopamine hits, TV, YouTube, entertainment. And the thing about it, it's work. Laying down a new habit, new pattern is work. It does not just automatically happen. So we're not special. No human is special. Every human being on this planet, their body is designed to need at least the opportunity to get 7 hours of sleep. I used to think I was special, not gonna lie. I was wrong. And I know that because people smarter than me told me, why don't you try getting more sleep and see if that helps the emotional distress you're in? That can't do anything. We'll get to that soon. All right, we covered this last time. It makes us fat and sickly. Not getting enough sleep, health problems. It makes us stupid. It impairs cognitive. Sleep Sensei is very direct. Impairs cognitive function would be the more scientific way to say it. And this is all based on research from Dr. Poe, Andrew Huberman, also a doctor, and other doctors I list in the resources, the leading sleep experts in the world. So we're basically not as smart. We're not as fun to be around. Like anxiety, depression, the inability to stay focused, ADD, sleep is the first and best cure for all of them. And when I talked to a doctor, talked to a therapist when everything in my life was falling apart, and they suggested get more sleep. I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Give me some drugs. Give me something else. Give me something else I could do. Try more sleep. Try getting 7 hours of sleep a night. And it took a while to build up to it, but it worked. My life didn't get magically better. Like the things that troubled me still trouble me, but just having that extra 2 hours of sleep or the opportunity to have that extra 2 hours of sleep absolutely changed my mind and my emotional state and my ability to stay focused and stay present in throughout the workday. I got so much more work done and was more creative. Hey, what's up, Jamie? You should join us, brother.
I want to say what's up. I'm gonna get the osmosis by this guy later, man. I'm excited to hear all about it. Love you, buddy.
I love you too, man. All right. That was a treat. So we don't have the ability, we don't have the cognitive and neurochemistry ability to deal with these emotions if we don't let our brain do what it needs to in the deeper hours of sleep. So I cannot stress this enough. If you're depressed, anxious, stressed, trouble, just not patient, having trouble with your relationships, more sleep's going to help. It makes us lazy, weak and lame. Lots of mental errors, chronic fatigue, our motivation goes down, performance goes down. I mean, these are all verified studies and stats taken and refined. The whole idea of not being able to function at our best level, and then also just feeling lame, feeling unmotivated. And death. Let's not forget death. Almost as many accidents are caused by sleep deprivation than driving under the influence. You combine the two, not to mention all the little fender benders, hurting yourself in the kitchen, getting sick, hurting someone else, having little accidents. It's because we're not taking care of our brain. I'm going to say this again and again. It's all about your neurochemistry. Sleep is all about your neurochemistry. Sleep benefits your brain more than it does your body. And it benefits your body tremendously. But the main benefits of sleep, especially when you give yourself the opportunity for 7 hours, are in your brain chemistry, especially in neuroplasticity. All of the new learning gets laid down in new tracks while you're sleeping. All of your new habits, the ones you're building, get reinforced while you're sleeping. The habits you're breaking and taking actions to actually take the power away, it all occurs while you're sleeping. And sleep happens in phases. There's stages of sleep. And there's a stage where this part happens. And if we don't give ourselves the 7 hours and we settle for 4 or 5, we're cheating ourselves out of that phase. Now, here's a side note. What if you're like me and you just have to get up and go to the bathroom sometime during the night? Does that mess up your sleep? No. As long as you don't start thinking about things that have nothing to do with the bathroom or sleep, and you don't go into a rabbit hole of thinking about what you have to do the next day or the fight you got into, your brain will cooperate and go right back into the same stage it was in. You just have to let it happen. I was glad to learn that. Aging. If you are not sleeping, aging becomes way more difficult. Not just cognitively, but your cell repair in your brain, like the onset of dementia and other mental deficiencies that happen in older age. There's a reason some people are 90 years old and they're still dancing, going strong, making jokes. And there's people that are 78 and they can barely move, talk, or think. It's a lifestyle, and sleep is such a big part. Like, I'm so passionate about this because I truly thought I was Arnold Schwarzenegger's like offspring or offshoot somehow, and I'd sleep faster. Like, okay, well, it actually does not work. You don't get to sleep faster. Now, some days you won't need 7 hours. That's why we let our body wake up normally. But skipping on sleep is going to make it tougher. And plus, if you like to create, if you like to be spontaneous, if you like to have an exciting life, it takes it away. Your creativity parts of your brain, they don't get as much juice or energy. So now you're in the same boring routine, the same boring thoughts, the same solutions to the same problems. And it is not conducive to creating the best life you want for yourself, or in work, family. If you're a parent, you have a relationship of any kind, sometimes it needs creative solutions. So making sure that you honor your creativity is big. So what are you gonna do about it? That's the question. 9 steps. First and foremost, the most important one is your consistent bedtime ritual. There is nothing more important than that. The rest of them, it's going to depend from person to person which ones are more important. Your sleep sanctuary, we're going to talk about that a bit. Measure to manage. If you're not measuring your sleep, it's like trying to lose weight and not measuring your weight. And there's many different ways to do it. I'll show you some of those. Wake up ritual, also called your morning routine. I don't know, what do you think, Rowena, changing morning routine to wake up ritual? Because the first thing after they wake up, I don't know, kind of fun. Do's and don'ts during the day. There's certain things you can do and not do. It's going to improve your sleep. Get enlightened. Code of consumption. GH fasting. And insomnia is going to strike. What are you going to do about it when it does? So here are the action steps to put into place. Last week, we already talked about your bedtime ritual, so I'm not going to bore you and go into that more. I will say that this is the most important thing. And even if you start simple, start. All right, your sleep sanctuary. I love this one. Use your bed only for sleep and sex. The only other thing is possibly reading. Don't watch TV in bed. Don't eat in bed. Don't talk on the phone in bed. Don't scroll your phone in bed. Your bed has to be a sanctuary. It has to be almost a ritual place where when you go there, your brain chemistry, here we go again, it's all about your neurochemistry. It knows it's time to shift into that mode. And there are so many neurological and physiological, it's a neurobiological response when your body knows that it's sleep time. You may have heard of it, called the circadian cycles, circadian rhythms. Those are so real. They're wired into your brain. And remember, the neurons that wire together, and they become tracks. So having natural sleep cues and honoring the bed for what it's for is going to help your sleep. Now, make sure that when you go to bed, you are napping or sleeping or having sex. Don't use it for other things. Don't hang out on it. Don't chill on it. It's not that. Your light is very important. The darker, the better. That goes without fail. And lowering your temperature, say your house is normally at 70, lowering it at least to 67, perhaps as low as 60, you're going to sleep better. But definitely drop the temperature, but have multiple cover options so you can adjust your sleeping temperature throughout the night. All right. We're on to the next one. Number 3, measure to manage. At the very least, in your F3 journal, start logging what time you go to bed, what time you get up, and how rested you feel. That's a sleep diary. I like to keep everything in one diary. Your F3 journal, you're going to find it's going to be many, many things. And I don't want to have 9 different diaries for 9 different things, but this journal will keep track of your sleep. And you'll be able to identify little adjustments and tweaks to make to your bedtime routine, or what you think is keeping you awake. And I can help you with these things. And we'll get more to that in a second. And then there's the morning assessment. This is the one we already use. How do you feel when you wake up? Sometimes you ask yourself this question about 45 seconds after you open your eyes in the morning. And the question's more like, man, I'm so tired. Should I go back to sleep? Or, oh, why do I still feel tired? I just woke up. Or sometimes I'm ready to go. But one rule, have a guideline, a non-negotiable rule for how soon you get out of bed. If you wake up, do you have 10 seconds? Do you have 1 minute? Do you have 5 minutes? Whatever it is, stick to it. And do not look at your phone until you're way out of bed. Like I always play the same song or the same like mindset thing every morning. It's like 4 minutes, and I stand up out of my bed before I turn it on my phone, because you never know what's going to pop out at you in your notifications. You want to start your day off positive. All right, back to this. There are technology things to use. I have not invested in the technology. I do have an Apple Watch, and I have used it to track sleep, but if the charging gets a little, you got to charge it before you go to bed. I usually charge it when I go to bed. However, just tracking when I go to bed and when I get up and how I feel during the day has been immensely valuable for me. Now, I think a lot of people say, I'm going to do the sleep. I'm going to go get everything. And they go buy one of the really expensive sleep trackers and they get it all dialed in. I don't think that's necessary at first. Journaling it is going to be absolutely valuable. Now, there's lots of sleep apps, wearable devices. Fitbit does a good job of it now. The self-assessment is going to be huge. There's sleep clinics. There's smart mattresses. There's environmental monitoring. And I would say paying attention and awareness of your body, how you feel when you wake up, and how much you resent going to bed, the way you have to do it differently, and really just giving yourself an evaluation of how you sleep. But measure to manage it. This is true with any change you want to make in life. All right, during the day, you will always sleep better if you exercise, without question. But just don't do it right before bed. Try not to nap during the day. If you do, keep it below 20 minutes. I'm not sure I wrote 30. Well, because science says 20 to 30. I seriously recommend napping as little as possible, because that's going to help your circadian rhythm. Now, the true star besides Sleep Sensei of this presentation is a steroid hormone called cortisol. Cortisol is what's messing up the sleep. It's like Sleep Sensei's major arch enemy. And when you can practice stress reducing techniques throughout the day and right before bed, and you go into great effort to make sure you're managing the stress, and even just saying that, you kind of go on, you put the blinders on. You've heard that before. I need to manage stress. No, we need to have actions in place to reduce cortisol. And the alignment exercise we're going to do today is just for that. So once again, exercise throughout the day. Don't just do one hard workout. Take a walk outside. Have spontaneous activities you do, whether 30 seconds or 10 minutes, throughout your day. Keep your body moving. Get in the sun. When we get to the get enlightened part, sunlight manages your circadian rhythm, will reset it for you. If you get in the sun, man, if you can work out in the sun, so walks in the sun and let the sun hit your face. Even if it's overcast, it still has the same effect. I'm going to say it again. It's neurochemistry. You're rewiring your natural tendencies for your body to take care of itself. Your body is a survival mechanism. It is a survival adaptation organism, and it adapted by the lifestyle we gave it, but it will adapt back to what it really wants to do if we let it. So the natural sunlight, huge. All right, caffeine and alcohol intake throughout the day. Caffeine will have a cumulative effect. But once again, I feel like I am a special snowflake in this area. I can drink lots of caffeine and still go to sleep. But I would sleep better if I cut down the caffeine. One thing I've done is switch from green tea to coffee at a certain point of the day, and then to decaf, diet sodas. I mean, lots of things. So definitely, I guess my point is some of these rules are going to matter more to others than they do to me, and vice versa. But the one rule that does apply to every human on this planet is the sunlight and the circadian rhythm. All right. Consumption, what you eat and drink. 3 hours before bedtime. 4 is better, but I find 3 to be more realistic. Do your best not to get up and eat. When you do that, it confuses your neurochemistry. Are we going into sleep mode or rest and digest? They're completely different. Rest and digest is a metabolic active process where sleep mode is taking the blood flow away from your digestive system and giving it all to, guess what? Your brain. All the blood flow is going to your brain for the healing, for the restructuring of neuroplasticity changes. So here's a tricky one. Alcohol. Yes, alcohol helps you go to sleep, for sure. But it also wakes you up about 3 hours later. And that's what it will always do. When the alcohol metabolizes and turns into acetaldehyde, it's going to spike cortisol. You're going to wake up. Then you either have to go back to sleep without the alcohol or drink more alcohol. Best bet, and this is tough because people usually drink at nighttime. It's tough because if you drink before bed, unless you give it that 4 to 5 hours for the alcohol to metabolize, you're going to have that impact of not being able to sleep right away or waking you up. So obviously, no alcohol is going to be the best thing for every human body. But to ask you to stop drinking, and everybody watching this, I believe you too don't drink alcohol. And if you do, very, very occasionally, probably not at all. But I have learned the hard way to ask people not to drink alcohol, even though it's the best thing they can do for their body, because it's just fermented sugar, is not realistic. So if you're going to drink it, know what it's doing. Know that it's turning to acetaldehyde and it will spike cortisol and it will wake you up. It's going to do that every single time. That's science. And it really depends on how much you drink and how much water you had during the day, but it's always going to happen. And it prevents you from getting into the deeper brain healing sleep cycles. And one thing, it feels good, but it actually hurts you more than it helps. It feels relaxing, chills you out, but it's going to hurt more. All right, control your screens instead of them controlling you. This is a bigger issue than I even thought. If any individual is on their phones the majority of the day, their computers or their tablets, or they have the TV on, to suddenly not do it 2 hours before bed. And by the way, the experts say 3 to 4. 3 to 4. I'm sticking to 2 because it's more realistic. So this means having the new discipline, the new principle in place that your sleep matters more than the dopamine. Dopamine doesn't help you sleep. And the type of dopamine you get from your screens is different. But I don't want you to think of this as me lecturing you. I'm going to talk about neuroscience. It's your neurochemistry. Think about it scientifically. If you make this change, you are realigning your neurochemicals and your neurosynapses to cooperate with healthy, good, productive sleep. And that allows you to get smarter, to rewire new habits and patterns, and to let go of the old ones. Plus, anything you learn that day will actually sink in and start hardwiring. This will be easy, especially for scrollaholics. Made that up. Good, scrollaholics. Workaholics and gamers. Man, gamers, tough time. It's gonna be a tough one. We have a new generation where circadian rhythms are going to be messed up. Man, we'll take a lot of rebuilding to get them back. And I anticipate more and more people using prescription medications. All right, get enlightened. I like this one. So first thing in the morning, turn on all the lights, as many lights as you can. And as soon as the sun comes out, try to go get some, even for just 4 minutes. All the lights. I used to start my day nice and gentle, like dim lights at first, progressively get more. No, right away. Circadian rhythm is going to love it. Your brain's going to say, okay, let's go. This is where we want cortisol to come out. This cortisol, without cortisol, at this point in our lives, we would be dragging. I can't seem to wake up. I have some more coffee. Oh man. That's why working out first thing in the morning wakes you up quicker, because workouts always release cortisol at the very beginning. And your body naturally releases cortisol upon waking. This is, in my opinion, one of the most valuable uses of cortisol. It wakes up our organs, our brain, and our awareness. So we love cortisol right now. And when you get the light, it automatically lets your body know it's time, let's go. And it just does it automatically. So limiting exposure to blue light, I actually meant to have these on the whole time, but I have them on now, is going to help you sleep better at night. And especially, like, there's two ways. I'm on a computer during the day, so I have these on during the day. Blocks the blue light. And then before bed, I'm reading a book, not a Kindle, a book, like a book right by my bed. That's what I'm reading. And I have a timer with my lamp that goes off in 30 minutes. So I don't have to worry about turning it off. And I have fallen asleep reading that book every night. And it's not a boring book. It's just my circadian rhythms are falling into place. So light matters. And it matters because it affects your brain chemistry. Almost everything we're talking about has everything to do with your brain. We're barely even touching how good it is for your metabolism, how good it is for muscle gain and fat loss, because the brain is more important. Because until we lay down new neural pathways, we're going to keep reverting back to the old behaviors. All right. Here is the paradox of GH fasting and sleep. When you first start, you're going to feel like it's making it impossible to sleep. You're going to have some days you sleep great, some days you feel like it's messed up, especially when you start extending the fast past 24 hours to 36 to 48. True. And the reason is cortisol. You are giving your body a brand new stimulus, and it's saying, what the heck are you doing? This feels dangerous, and danger and uncomfortable and unfamiliar are all mean the same to the brain and body. So it's going to release cortisol, and it's going to make it feel harder to sleep. At first, the more you do it, less cortisol gets released because your body becomes used to it, and your sleep actually improves. It improves your quality of sleep. And this varies from person to person, but lowering cortisol intentionally and letting your body know that, hey, this is what we do now, is going to reduce that. So when you do your first GH fast, Derek, yours is coming up. Rowena, you're a seasoned veteran now. Having an even more in-depth bedtime ritual where perhaps you do a warm bath, perhaps you listen to some really mellow music, like you go deep into doing whatever you can to set yourself up for lower cortisol levels. We're not doing this stuff so, oh, it'll feel good, or no, we're doing it for chemistry, brain chemistry, lowering cortisol levels, increasing the hormones that we want to sleep, and laying down new neural pathways. Now, If you're on an all-day fast, you're going to be hungry. And especially at first. But if you're on your daily rhythm and you're feeling especially hungry at night, odds are you should eat more during your last meal. And as I was teaching Derek, the Brussels sprout rule. If you're starving and you just cannot sleep because you're so hungry, Brussels sprouts, frozen Brussels sprouts. Go to the fridge, pop as many as you need, and put your mind at ease. It's better to get a good night's sleep and give in to that than it is to lay in bed contemplating back and forth. Eventually, you won't even need the Brussels sprouts. But trust and believe, the Brussels sprouts are way better than the chips. Gosh, I've killed a whole bag of those Costco multi-grain chips. And it's better than so many other things that we want to eat at that time of the night. Because there's a lot of emotional hormones going on at that point, and it feels like, oh, what? I just need to feel better. All right. Insomnia will happen. Here's the hard, fast rule. If you are laying in bed for 20 to 30 minutes, you cannot go to sleep, get up and sit down and read. Get up and sit down and align or meditate. Get up and sit down or walk, but get up. Don't stay in bed and don't turn on a screen, and do your best just to calm down your brain. Now, this absolutely works, but you're not going to get up and exercise. You're going to get up and do something relaxing, like read. Just give into it. Don't even second guess it. It's just your brain chemistry rewiring. It's okay. And it's the conscious mind going nutty, and it's the cortisol levels spiking. Cortisol is the culprit, but we're the ones that control our cortisol. We just have to learn to do it. So let's talk deeper. Sleep disorders, sleep apnea, insomnia. In my research, I have found that cognitive behavior therapy, which is the alignment practice that we do, is as effective as pharmaceutical prescriptions. And cognitive behavior therapy, when I talk about our authentic alignment, we're combining cognitive behavior therapy, NLP, and logotherapy, invented by Viktor Frankl, in a combined cocktail, I would say, to make sure that wherever it is you're lacking, it hits that there. But it's a matter, cognitive behavior therapy means intentionally changing your thinking, belief, and trait patterns. And that's what we do. Derek and I worked on one yesterday. Rowena, you and I worked on several. And it's just basically recognizing that thought, releasing it, and replacing it with a new one that is authentic and that we're going to reinforce. And there's lots of ways to do it. I am not one to say don't do prescriptions or do prescriptions. I am one to say that right now, antidepressants, anti-anxiety are being prescribed at an all-time high level because they're the easy way to go. And they're meant to be a temporary fix until you get through that rough part and you can start doing it naturally. Unfortunately, they're so, especially Xanax. I mean, rappers are even singing about Xanax in their songs because you can use it all day long. It's just like, oh yeah, I feel much better. And it's because it shuts down your neurochemistry. These substances actually release more neurotransmitters into your brain and alter your brain chemistry. Your brain's not naturally adjusting and doing it on its own. It's all happening artificially, and when they wear off, your brain has to compensate. Your brain will compensate. So know that all of these will have a pro and a con. The pro is they work great, they work fast. The con is your body has to re-regulate and readjust afterwards, and the longer you use them, the more you need to use. And then there's, of course, a big dependency. And another one, I will tell a big story about gamma aminobutyric acid. Well, there's another one called GHB, gamma hydroxybutyric acid. Oh, they seem so similar, but one is a Schedule 3 narcotic that I actually went to prison for, but it helps sleep so much. So Ambien and Lunesta are also pretty powerful, not as habit-forming as the benzodiazepines. Antidepressants, trazodone and amitriptyline, both are going to be less impactful than the cons, but anytime you change your brain chemistry with chemicals, your brain will re-regulate afterwards. All right. This is a special treat. I am going to give you the natural supplement cocktail, the natural supplement mix that will help sleep. And this is not according to my own experimentation. Andrew Huberman and all of the other sleep experts agree on all or most of these. So magnesium, L-theanine, melatonin, GABA, and 5-HTP, and ashwagandha. If you're taking melatonin already and taking more than 3 milligrams, stop. It's not helping. You take enough melatonin to stimulate natural melatonin release. If you're taking lots of milligrams of it and you think it's going to help you sleep better, it will not. It's going to make it so your body does not produce as much natural. Now, you don't have to write all these down. I will get this lineup to you. This is straight from the labs of Dr. Andrew Huberman and several other sleep experts. Ashwagandha, I can't say enough about it. None of them work instantly. None of them are going to, you may feel something the next day, but this is going to take a month for lots of these to kick in. The two I really recommend most, magnesium and L-theanine. These two combined are going to help downregulate, oh, here it is, downregulate cortisol. The GABA is downregulating cortisol. And 5-HTP, this is the most expensive, and if you're going to leave one off, leave this one off. It releases more serotonin, which is going to help sleep as well, but it is the most expensive out of all of these. The rest of them are really inexpensive. Ashwagandha, I take it 2 times a day, and I'll give you the milligrams. Everything's here. So I'm using all of these except the 5-HTP right now. I have used 5-HTP in the past. And all you need to do is Google what supplements do leading sleep experts recommend. You're going to see these. But the main reason is reducing cortisol and increasing the hormones and natural neurotransmitters that help sleep. All right. I could spend days talking to you about the benefits of sleep, but I won't, because unless you take action, you're not going to get them. You can watch this later, but you know it's going to improve life. You know it's going to improve physical, mental, emotional, but unless you have some rules in place, nothing's going to change. If you were toning out because I was talking all the science, I need you to tune right back in now. And I'm not just talking to people here, people watching this video later. This is the most important part of the whole presentation. If you don't have new guidelines, standards, principles in place, nothing's going to change. And everything I just said was informational. God, I almost said informational masturbation, but that would not have been appropriate. It's just wasted info that you felt good for a second because you got it, and because you understood it and you got it, it's like joining a gym and thinking you're going to lose weight without going. Getting information that's valid and that you like and you can relate to, but not putting action into place is the same. So don't feel like you have to do everything, but make your agreements. Make your agreements with your coach, with your partner, with someone, and do a simple one first. The first one everyone should do is your bedtime ritual and have a cue for it. The cue is a certain time of the day. I have a friend, Jen, who's in a whole nother country, but he's been struggling with sleep. And his cues when the kids go to bed at 9:30, he starts his ritual, no matter what. My cue is right when I finish a certain thing at the end of each day, I start my ritual. So I finish my TikTok live, I start my ritual. My ritual has to take longer because I'm jacked after those things. But I do them at 8:30, so I'm doing some reading, I'm doing some stuff, but I'm not standing on my computer and doing what I used to do. All right, here's another one. Instead of your wake up alarm, start focusing on your bedtime alarm. Actually have notifications. I wouldn't have a bam, bam, bam alarm. I would have some type of lighting, notifications, or something that triggers, hey, it's time to start. So even if your sleep does not improve in the first week, here's my everything's connected hypothesis, theory, and strong, strong belief. Even if your sleep does not improve, but you start consistently following your non-negotiables. And by the way, you get to create them. I will never tell you what to do. I will suggest, you say, I'm going to do this, we agree on it, and I hold you to it. But when you just follow them, even if your sleep does not improve the first week, your mindset, your self-respect, your self-esteem, your ability to stick with other things will improve. And trust and believe, none of us are super special snowflakes. Your sleep will improve. Don't try to do it all once. Do what you know you can do and build on it as you go. We are laying down new neural pathways and atrophying the old ones. And the way you sleep is the way you'll work out, the way you'll work, the way you'll follow your time eating protocol, and everything else. And if sleep is the hardest thing for you to dial in, all right, now what? Do the hard work to dial it in. And be patient, but take everyday action. Consistency matters way more than having a great, intense, buy your new sleep tracker, buy your new mattress, everything's bed, got all the chemicals, got all the supplements, did everything. And then next day, nothing. Think lifestyle change, not quick fix. So I hate the word rules. I hated it forever. I realized that when I was writing, I don't like to follow these rules. So whatever verbiage you need to use, make it consistent. Make it your standards, your schedule, your guideline. I'm okay with non-negotiable rules. I love the term is a non-negotiable. I do it no matter what. Like for me, no drugs or alcohol, non-negotiable. Rest of my life. Like previously, I would think, oh, I could probably do it this time, or I probably could just smoke weed because it's not going to do. No, it's a non-negotiable. So if the thought comes, I don't have to think about it. It's done, non-negotiable. No contemplation. So when you have non-negotiables, it makes it so you don't waste brain time thinking about it and contemplating it and raising cortisol levels for no reason. Having non-negotiables takes the thinking, analyzing, argument, and debating out of it. It's a gift to have non-negotiables. But if you make non-negotiables and do not stick with them, your self-respect, your self-esteem, your self-love all go down. The best way, I believe self-respect and self-love, same thing. The best way to boost it and keep boosting it is stick to your non-negotiables, stick to your consistencies. And sleep, I'm hoping that you see the value and you make it yours. There's other ones. Your morning ritual. If there's a non-negotiable you should be doing every day, your morning ritual. Your mojo, measure, movement, mindset. Your time eating protocol, non-negotiable. But maybe it's not yet. Maybe some days you do, some days you don't. Some days it's important, some days it's not. Journaling every day accelerates your cognitive redevelopment. Strength and movement, for me, that's one of the easiest ones to honor. Now I'm asking you to put in the bedtime ritual. You don't have to have more than 3 new rules at once. In fact, you probably shouldn't. Because after you dial 3 of them in, they become habits, like brushing your teeth. And you can focus on new ones. So both of you know the most important ones for you right now. And for every single human on this planet, if you're not sleeping 7 or more hours a night, Sleep is one of your top 3. I didn't know, I do now, so I'm sharing it. All right. Let's let that sink in. Let's do an alignment. I'm actually going to do a special alignment today. It's all about reducing cortisol levels. And you can combine this in the morning or in the evening. And we're actually going to, I'll give you a little prep. Cortisol is a steroid hormone. And it's created in the outer layer cortex of the adrenal glands. The adrenal glands aren't even in your brain. They're right above your kidneys. But your hypothalamus is actually called your HPA axis. I know I sound nerdy, but I just want to break down the science for you. Your hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis, which is right here, below your hypothalamus, where your brainstem connects to your brain. That's what sends the message to your adrenal glands and releases cortisol. So these two are in this constant communication loop. Oh, we're stressed, we're scared, right? We're in danger. Okay, I'll release more cortisol. So it's a brain-body connection that makes the cortisol response happen. We can control this. Man, and the hypothalamus is so tiny too. It's so small. It's this little heart-shaped thing right there. And it does so much. Now, the adrenal glands are right. I'm going to show you where they are. So your heart is here, boom. And your kidneys are directly behind it, right in the bottom of your rib cage. So imagine your heart, boom. So today, when we align, we're going to focus on our adrenal glands. We're going to focus on our hypothalamus, but I'm not going to use those words. Because when you infuse that with calming, authentic light and energy, instead of letting it run its course, you will have more control of it during the day. Derek and I had a great talk yesterday. When we practice this in the morning, we practice it at night, we're able to tap into it anytime during the day with 3 or 4 breaths. Breathing is the cue. Breathing first stimulates our vagus nerve, calms down our conscious mind, and then allows us to let alignment happen. So if you've never watched one of these before, this is not meditation. The objective of meditation is to calm your brain, which is great. I'm all for it. This is an action. We have an outcome and an intention. We are teaching our brain to calm down on demand. We are teaching our brain and our neurochemistry to rewire to our authentic selves. We're rewiring our neuroplastic connections. We are practicing neuroplasticity. We are laying down new neural tracks. And the neurochemistry, calming the conscious brain, and then enlisting the light has worked for lots of other science-based spiritual guru types. So the light is our way of giving it a little boost of power. So that is the science behind what we're doing. I will not get too much nerdier. With that being said, get relaxed. Let's practice it together, and then we'll do a check-in at the end, and we'll go off and have awesome Saturdays. Okay, first thing, we're gonna calm down our conscious brain by stimulating our vagus nerve, some deliberate, intentional breaths. So inhale aggressively and fast. Exhale very slowly throughout your mouth. We have the luxury of having the space and time to do that 10 times, 12 times, as many as we want. So keep breathing in aggressively, rapidly through your nose. As calmly and slowly as possible to your mouth. And all you're thinking about is your breath. How aggressively, how violently can I inhale? How slowly can I exhale? In the next couple of breaths, I want you to just Become aware of your diaphragm flexing and coming up and your lungs expanding as you inhale. All right, on this next one, we're going to hold the inhale. Just as aggressive, we're going to hold it for 4 counts. We're going to breathe out nice and slow. Encourage your brain to keep that going. The inhale is no longer aggressive and fast and violent, but it's a little faster and it's deep. When you exhale, encourage your automatic systems to exhale slowly. Conscious mind should be calm and down. And if not, thoughts are coming, no problem. Let them come. Let them go. Don't fight with them. Don't argue with them. They're not needed right now. Can hang out later. Right now, we want our conscious brain to take a break. And because your breathing stimulates your vagus nerve, you probably already feel a calmness. And that's your cortisol levels going down. Everything's safe. And you're totally safe. And remember that I'm completely safe right now. I'm completely created space for me to make an improvement in my brain chemistry in my life. I'm going to do that. All right, as you inhale, I want you to visualize your heart, just a light, golden, shiny, bright, whatever colors and texture you associate with healthy, love, goodness, authenticity. Imagine that texture and light around your heart. It's always there. Sometimes we're thinking so much we don't remember, we're not aware of it, but it's always there, that life force. Now, as you continue to breathe, that same light is around you. And it's such a powerful light that we can't see it with our eyes. We don't even have scientific tools that can measure it yet, but it's there. And we feel it more than see it really, but it helps to visualize whatever golden, pure, authentic love and light would look like to you. Let it look that way. And it's around your hands, around your head, your shoulders, down to your thighs. It's just all around. And you realize that's always been there. Good to reacquaint. So now we're going to breathe that light inside our heart, all that light around. We're going to breathe all that positive, intentional love and light into our lungs. And as we exhale, we're going to be very deliberate, because as it's exhaling up our diaphragm and esophagus, it's going to stop at our heart area. And not just our heart, that whole chest cavity is going to illuminate. And we're going to breathe that light in again. And as we breathe it out, push it to that heart and let it just sit there. Not just the heart, the whole chest cavity. I breathe in the bright golden light again. And this time, as it meets that chest cavity, there's some murky, gunky stuff there. It's been just stuck. We're going to breathe it out. Once again, that purifying, authentic life light. We're bringing it in, shiny, golden, sparkly, bright, into our lungs. then up into our chest cavity. And that last bit of the gunky stuff has been clogging things up a bit. We're going to breathe it out. And breathe in again. Always breathing in the light. And as you breathe out, push the light up and notice that that whole chest cavity is clear. Now we're going to breathe all the way in one more time. Hold it for a bit. We're going to charge this one up and then exhale slowly and imagine that beam of light going all the way through your torso, up your brainstem to the bottom of where your brainstem meets your head. And it's just glowing and shining and bright. We're going to do that 2 more times. Pushing the light in, inhaling it in, and then pushing it up our brainstem and letting it stop and rest right there where our brainstem meets our head as we exhale it out. Now we're going to add our intention. Calm, connected. Feeling calm, feeling connected. You're going to breathe in that calm, connecting light. Push it up your spinal cord and up to your brainstem again. And reinforce the calm, connected. Do it again, and this time the light's a little brighter. And as you breathe it in and breathe up through your spinal cord, up to where your brainstem meets your head, I want you to visualize a little teeny heart in there, just illuminating with this calm, connected, healthy light. And it's like almost smiling if a little organ can smile. But it's definitely illuminated. And you're connecting your intentions with this part of your brain that is usually disconnected. And your intentions are to feel this summon calm and connection at any time. Breathe it in. Now, there's no gunk there because that's just an organ in the brain that does what we tell it to. And now we're telling it to stay calm and that we're connected. Breathe out. One more time, breathe in. Breathe out. This last breath, and breathe in, and just such a shiny, authentic, pure light. And as you breathe out, any unwanted thoughts or feelings that tried to pop up, just make peace with them and breathe them out. Take a couple more breaths on your own. Just feel everything calm, connected, authentic. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. If you feel a little tingle, you're getting good at this. Rub your hands together. Ah, great job. Well, you are now officially aligned. All right, Derek, Rowena, any takeaways, any questions, anything I could do to be of service?
I'll go. This takeaway was more of a reminder. It's something that my boss has always said: the failing to plan is planning to fail. And you and I talked about that yesterday, Tom. Like my Thursday afternoon or evening, it's like, well, if there wasn't a plan, failure should have been expected. Um, the one, and this is another one that you've said before that I think I was a reminder I needed to hear. I was actually listening this morning to Matthew Walker and on the Ritual podcast, just kind of in the theme of sleep, which has been the past couple messages. And you said that sleep reinforces the new habits and those neural pathways, and more importantly, it allows the old neural pathways to atrophy. That to me is like a superpower, because like that's where I'm at in my progress, is trying to get rid of some of these old habits. And I know that it's possible, but it's like that's my number one challenge. So that was something I wrote down that I just want to keep in my constant awareness. So big takeaway. The one question I had, and I've not gone and done my own research on this, but I've heard in recent months and like even over the course of the last year, I've heard a lot of talk about like circadian rhythms and how important they are. What is exactly, like, can you give like an overview of like what exactly a circadian rhythm is and like what its importance is?
There's going to be two big components to this. The one that is completely grounded in science and there's no controversy is, I'm going to say it again, it's your neurochemistry, it's your neural wiring. By our daily habits and our daily practices, we hardwire what our body does at night, what it does in the morning, what it does during the day. Our exposure to light affects it. When we go to bed affects it. The activities we do or don't do affect it. That is the neuroscience part and the easy part to analyze. The other part is circadian rhythms are related to the sun's positioning. They're related to the waves and everything that's happening in the earth, the moon, and specifically the earth and the moon and the ocean and the sunlight. And by sunlight, it doesn't mean if the sun's up or not, just the fact that where it's rotating. We're meant to sleep at times where the moon is in a different position and the sun's in a different position. So that is the more spiritual / metaphysical part of circadian rhythms that scientists don't like to dabble in too much, but more and more evidence says that it's happening. The for sure part is the neural hardwiring in our brains, and your brain automatically releasing certain neurotransmitters during certain times of the day based on the rhythm. So the cues, the time, and your cognitive thinking make the circadian rhythm. But after the circadian rhythm's done and in there, part of it is malleable, meaning we can influence it. But part of it is already hardwired and is in line with the universal rotation of the sun and the moon, and we were born with it. But here's where it gets controversial. Let's say we were born with 50% of it all hardwired or 100% of it all hardwired. And if we would have just let nature take its course and not altered it with our own things and just follow these great sleep habits from the beginning, like a baby just sleeps until it wakes up and then it sleeps again. It's developing the perfect sleep cycle because it's following nature's rhythm for it. And then eventually it aligns with the natural flow. Now, how much of that is malleable? Obviously a lot, because humans work night shifts and don't follow it at all. Humans sleep deprive themselves and they don't die right away. So part of it's malleable. Now, is it 50% malleable, 50% hardwired? Is it 100% hardwired and we just are messing with the system until the system goes back to normal? That's a controversy. Now, humans, here's the part I love, and I don't remember who reinforced this. Humans are designed to connect with each other. We're designed to interact. So our circadian rhythm sets us all up on the same schedule. So whoever's in your region of the world, you're able to interact with them during your waking hours. And we are hardwired to be interactive social species. So when we go against that, and we're sleeping till noon and staying up till 4 a.m, we're actually going against our hardwiring as humans. My theory is that when you let nature take its course again, you will go back to the normal rhythm. So we can temporarily disrupt our natural circadian rhythm, but we all have the same circadian rhythm to an extent.
Got it.
That was a really good question. That was a deep answer that, man, it felt good to talk about because it's a spiritual component. There's a universal component to it that contributes to the idea that humans are meant to connect. And we're meant to sleep so our brains can rewire, heal, and get ready to connect even better the next day. But yeah, that was a great question. And something else you said, when I learned what was happening in the healing part and the restructuring of the old habits and bad habits about the brain, that's when I went all in on sleep. When I got the science behind it by several different doctors and researchers, I'm like, why didn't someone just make this blatantly clear before? I'm like, I would have started this sooner because no wonder. So yeah, that I related to your takeaway because I had that same epiphany when I got that knowledge.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, man. Great questions.
Yeah, that
And
was a great question.
I trust you're going to take action, which makes me even feel better about answering them. How are you, Ro?
Well, it's definitely opening up a lot of thought about why I have these certain habits. And I'm learning that it is very hardwired. Like my whole family, we're all night owls. You know, and it started with my parents and their parents probably before them. We fight our sleep to the end, and I'm definitely, it's just eye-opening that this is all just hardwired. And going back to nature's rhythm, letting nature take its place. And I've been doing it this week, not perfectly, but getting better about the bedtime ritual. So, yeah.
The cultural influences of a family always being night owls, or the idea that if you can stay up all night and work all night where everyone else is sleeping, those are all SP traits. At some point, that behavior, belief served that group of people or that person, and they felt like, okay, I got to keep doing this. But there's no science that says they should keep doing it. There's no evidence that it benefits them at all. And if they check their emotions and they check their performance through the day and their fatigue levels, they're contrary. But cultural hardwiring, social, cultural, emotional hardwiring is the hardest hardwiring to reprogram.
Yeah.
But your awareness of that alone is ahead of the game. Always starts with awareness.
Yep.
And then the recognizing, and then trusting universal intelligence that's pretty much smarter than all of us, letting it do its thing. But sleep there's more to sleep than resting the body and brain. I mean, just the fact that we don't have any impact or any influence on what we get to dream about, but yet some dreams are so lucid and revealing. Stuff going on there. The stuff that after we wake up from a sleep, we have answers to problems we didn't have answers to before. Yes, a refreshed brain's happening, but stuff's happening during sleep that I, for one, don't want to get in the way of anymore.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I talk about sleep still better than I do it. It's still an imperfect art form for me, but I work my ass off at it. I work hard at it. That's what is the best word? It's ironic, or it's a paradox. I work my ass off at relaxing and calming my brain.
That is a paradox.
I literally have action steps I'm taking every day. And truth be told, there was a certain client that one of his main issues of coming into the program, yes, lose weight, but also to improve his sleep. And I was already well underway. And so that's what spurred creating 2 different blog posts on it, doing even more research, and then creating these presentations, because when I learned how universally healing and connecting it is, the better. Like what we just practiced teaching, and we were teaching our hypothalamus and our adrenal glands to calm upon our intention, it will be reinforced tonight when we sleep, especially if you practice that same thing again before bed.
Okay.
That's when it starts laying down. And so the next day, when I know Tony doesn't yell at you, somebody uses a joke. Tony's yelling at you, get your work done. Where's the dishes done? I can't imagine him doing that. But he say work stress, family stress is coming. We can tap into it. I literally can do it with one breath sometimes. But there's every day, a day has not come and gone that I hadn't had to stop for a moment and intentionally realign. It's not meditating, it is relaxing, but it's intentional. The thing with this practice I'm teaching you, it's an intentional action with a desired outcome. It is not a let's relax our brain and see what happens. That's meditation. That's non-sleep, deep relaxation. And those are great. They definitely calm your brain and help them. What I'm teaching everyone I work with is not that. It is an intentional alignment of our intentions with our brain chemistry. Man, I'm glad we're recording this because I just described exactly what it is. It's work, it's action, but it has immediate benefits.
So when we're in the middle of a stressful situation and we find ourselves just taking deep breaths to calm ourselves down, that's not enough. We have to have that intentional alignment behind it, because then we can just be taking deep breaths throughout the stressful situation and not get aligned.
Yes and no. At first, that may be the case, but because we are consciously focusing on that aggressive inhale and that slower exhale, it's triggering a cue in our brain. Okay, this is what we're doing.
Okay.
And it's going to initiate an automatic calming response, but only if we keep programming it. But it will become automatic.
Okay.
It is the same thing with our thought processes. When that thought comes, if we automatically recognize it, release it, and replace it, our brain will start doing it automatically as well. And that's when the new neural tracks come.
Okay.
Great question. And thank you for letting me explain it. What I really am grateful about these groups is I'm getting better when I hear myself explain it. It sounds clear to me. I've tried to explain this many times. I know the person I'm talking to must be confused because I'm wondering, does that make sense? But yeah, especially both of you two. You guys are light share warrior Jedis.
Mhm.
All right. Any other questions? Any other ways I can help you?
This one isn't related to the sleep, but Derek asked it during the week, what your go-to brand is for MCT oil.
I'll get it.
Okay.
Hey Zara, do you want to hop on and say hi to Derek and Roya?
Yes.
Did I hear Zara? Hi, Zara.
I made it.
It was so cool when she called this morning and she just popped up. Yep, she's really here. Yeah, this one.
It's awesome.
This is value, quality, cost. Boom. Yeah, also good. Just more expensive. So yeah, this one, I always try to find the one because I'm going to recommend it. I sampled 3 to 4. This one is really, it's on Amazon. It's Nature's Way Organic MCT oil. It's great. Even better than Dr. Berg's. Don't buy Dr. Berg's stuff. It's so overpriced. It's the same stuff you can buy on Amazon.
Okay.
But good for him. Good for him. I'm not trying to hate on him. I just want you guys to have money for other things. So I always want you to get you the highest quality for the best price.
Okay.
And also, this is hugely different than coconut oil. Okay, good. Everyone's clear on that. Coconut oil is not MCT in its finest form.
Okay.
That is the healthiest fat you can intake in your body. But don't do too much at once.
Right. Because I've seen you just take tablespoons.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. And don't ever do it before you go running and coffee.
Okay.
Unless you're gonna have a bathroom. Yeah, it was not pretty.
Oh, okay. So don't add it to the coffee. I've been
Flat
told.
chew plant. No, you can add to coffee, but not before
Oh.
going running or jogging or something. Or
Oh,
bounce
okay.
something down. I've had some really bad experiences. Flat chew
Oof.
pants is what you call it. And if you research MCT oil, flat chew pants is a thing.
That's good for sticking it in smoothies, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Very. And salad dressings. It's a very,
Dressing.
what's great about medium chain triglycerides is what MCT stands for. It can penetrate the blood-brain barrier. So your brain gets instant fuel. It can also penetrate other cell membranes. So your muscles get instant fuel. Like, it's really cool what it does, but it's taken a step lower, a step deeper than coconut oil. But coconuts, man, those are magical fruits.
I love coconut water. I just have to watch the sugar that's in it. A lot of them have a lot of sugar.
I'm gonna say boo-boo on coconut water.
Mm.
I'm gonna give it an official boo-boo. I have been on the fence for forever, and it's not just you. It's like a very controversial boo-boo. I feel like the benefits of coconut water are slightly higher than real water. And the
Okay.
sugar that comes with coconut water,
Mm.
without the MCT good fat, is useless. Now, I'm not positive. I don't have any backing on it. But if you held me against the wall and said, tell me your opinion on coconut water. One, I tried it once, we'll never drink it again. It doesn't taste bad. It's just useless.
Okay.
It's another fancy Gatorade. But instead of electrolytes, they're giving you the goodness of the coconut. The goodness of the coconut is the MCT and the fat. So that may change. I don't have any science to back it up. And I'm sure I would be slandered, yelled at. If anyone else was on this call, I probably wouldn't even say it out loud. But if I had to be held down, coconut water is a hoax.
Okay.
The vitamins and stuff you're going to get from that are in any multivitamin with 0 calories, 0 sugar. If coconut water had 0 sugar, I would sing a different song. Completely different song. You know what else is bunk? Orange juice. It's pure sugar. It's made calories as soda. You can get vitamin C in any supplement.
Okay.
Don't just drink it as a treat. Don't pretend you are doing something good for your body or your metabolism. You're just doing something good for your taste buds. And that's okay.
Gotcha.
It's way less calories than a lot of things. Sugar's never going to be good for us.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up. Any other controversies we can crack before I hang out with Zara, film some videos, and who knows, we might even rearrange my. She brought a really cool, like, I'm gonna be high tech, like a mic, the headphones, and like
Wow.
video time, man. Here we go. Zara is been behind all like advancements on TikTok and video production and content going out, and like she is the one that's responsible for taking the ideas and teachings and theories and bringing them out to more people. And yeah, she has definitely helped me do some new things and take some new risks and go for some stuff. And I'm sure that has not even come close to an end yet. So that's pretty awesome.
Yes, she
But
is awesome.
plus, she does all the behind the scenes in the business that she probably hates. I forget because I don't have to do them, like payroll and finances and all that stuff too. So she's awesome. This is the first time I've ever met her in real life. Yeah. So
Yeah.
cool.
Okay.
Oh, and
I could, yeah.
I have in my thing. This is a funny story, Derek. I've known Rowena for years. When I first moved here, Rowena and her husband were the ones that helped me with the U-Haul and drove here with me. So I have your sheets washed from that first time that you loaned me in that.
Oh.
They've been there forever. I always look at them, I go, I can't tell her they're here. So just so you know.
Oh, it's okay. I forgot all about him.
They're still gonna stay in that plastic bag. Even though they're washed, they probably don't smell clean anymore. I bought a whole bunch of new house sheet sets when I first moved in. That seems like so long ago now.
It isn't that long ago.
I'm glad it seems like so long ago.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just trying to lay down some some new neural tracks.
Yeah. For Derek, I do have some coaching questions, but I know this isn't a coaching. Well, it is.
Yeah, I want to make sure because I have like his workouts were my favorite to build in the world.
Yes.
So he's doing 5 workouts. 3 days have to be max sets. Week 1, bench press, max set. Like, and we're talking 10, 6, 4, 2, 2. As heavy as he can, and we see the next week. Now, deadlifts are going to be another max set every week. Squats are going to be the other one. So we want to have some traditional max sets we do every week. Every other week, we're going to put in military press, same thing. And it's going to be the 10, 6, 4, 2. With his only objective is how many reps can he do, or how much weight can he do safely? Because if he gets hurt, we're messing up. So how much weight can he do safely for that last? If he can do 2 reps on his 5th set, he went too light. He should be at 1 and almost be able to get 2. That's the 2 rep set mentality. And on the other days, on the other days, we're going to do chest, biceps, supersets, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And we're going to do incline press and standing curls. Like, we're going to have the different modalities. If he's standing for one, he's inclined for the other. We will not do the heavy lifts at all on the supersets. We're also going to have a superset with a hit interval on some days. And those are going to be reps of 10 to 12 medium weight.
Okay.
I have some notes written down. Man, it's kind of like this presentation. It's like I love doing presentations and creating them and seeing how I can make them fun. And so I put it off, right? And I don't do it because there's all this other shit that's not fun. And so I don't get to it. And Derek's workouts are like, we haven't had a client like Derek before as far as his workouts are concerned. And so I'm super excited to do it. Yeah. But here's what I would say. I don't want to go and trainerize to do it. It's all built, but I'm going to send you today, and you have my permission to say, Tom, poke, poke. What's your thing you always say? I hate to be pestering you again, but you can say whatever you want. But I have stuff already. It will not take me that long to get the first blueprint. And this is going to be good learning from you because he is in a hypertrophy strength phase.
Yeah.
But he wants to work out so frequently that we're going to be able to get some metabolism burning HIIT training as well. But it's going to be 1, 2, 3 day cycle, 1, 2, 3 day cycle. He's not going to do max weight every day. He's going to have a 1 day break in between those.
Okay, because he sent me his workouts that he's been working on or doing.
He's doing maintenance workouts.
Okay. Yeah,
he's doing classic, like, let's maintain all this good looking muscle workouts. And that it's going to be, we have to have days where he's going really heavy and not as many reps, and days where he's doing workouts like that. But we want to, anything he was doing before, we want to set it up with a superset instead and do them in different orders. And we also want to switch up his combos, like chest and biceps together. No more bis and tris together for a while. He can, if he wants, have that abs, ass, and abs utility day just for fun, like on a bonus day. But from now on, we're going to pair his chest and shoulders with biceps and back with triceps. But we're going to kill those secondary muscles on those days.
Okay.
I know what you're thinking. Oh my God, it's so overwhelming. So truth be told, I have in my drive a Google Doc, and Zara's going to hear this and say, that my Google Docs, my drives, I have so much stuff that when I started to look for it, it was just daunting, and I stopped. So I'm going to spend some time looking for it again, because he's doing similar workouts to me and Tevin when we worked out and did stuff. Yeah. And Derek used to be the only type of client I train, like guys that wanted to get more muscle and burn fat in the process. So I have them, and if I cannot find them, I'm gonna just start recreating them, because yeah, it won't. The only thing that will stay the same are his power lifts, military press, and we're not gonna even do that every week. Don't need to.
Mhm.
Bench press, deadlift, and squats.
Okay.
The military
Okay.
press, I just want to see how that goes in proportion to it, but it's not a good thing to max out on all the time.
Yeah, my shoulders have issues with that too, just from like snowboarding injuries. So that's not one that I typically do. But if you're saying every other week, I'll give it a shot.
It's not super necessary. I think for you, lateral raises are going to be better, but
Okay.
not heavy. Like, let's start rebuilding your shoulders. At the end of every workout for a while, you're going to get the tricep rope, go overhand grip like this. You're going to retract your shoulder blades standing. A split stance, so you have 1 foot in front of the other. You're going to retract your shoulder blades, and you're going to pull it to your ears. And you're going to do 20 reps. Okay, and then lateral raises, you're going to go obnoxiously light for 20 reps, and then slightly heavier for 20 reps. Dude, start doing it every day.
Okay.
And we're just going to reinforce the tendons around there. And plus, when those lines start showing, it's really cool.
Got it.
Just at the end of the workout, like do that every day for a while.
Jamie and I are about to go to the gym right now.
Oh, good, man.
Okay.
Give Jamie a big hug for me. And Rowena, great questions. Derek, great questions. You two made me smile.
I will pester you on Monday.
Pester me whenever you like. I've yet to complain about you pestering me. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
Have an awesome weekend, guys.
You too, Derek.
You too,
Always a pleasure
Derek.
seeing
It
my
was
man.
great seeing you.
Too. Thanks, guys.
See y'all later. Bye, Rowena. Thank you too.